colors that are about to be on screen. So kick it up to the front. Everyone keep enjoying Summer Games Done Quick 2020. See ya.
Alright, hey everyone. I'm swordsmankirby, and this is Virtual Boy Wario Land 100%. The way that I'm streaming this, just to sort of verify that I'm playing on original hardware, here is a webcam pointed into my Virtual Boy. So yeah, it's the same image here. But luckily with this mod, we don't actually need to play on the red palette. So I'm going to switch to just white and black. So the name of the game, 100%, there are 10 treasures that you need to collect. There's 14 levels, 4 boss levels, and 10 regular stages. So the name of the game is going to be collecting a treasure in each of those regular stages. So are you ready for a countdown? Alright, okay, so I'm going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So the way that the Virtual Boy Wario Land uses the Virtual Boy hardware, I guess, is that there are some 3D aspects to it. So there's going to be some foreground, background mixing. Normal Wario is not very fast, so we're going to switch immediately to Bull Wario. As you can see, there's a much faster dash than just simply running. And it allows us to clear this huge pit of lava right there. And kind of similar to, I guess, like Wario Land 4, if you played that game, in order to exit the level, you need to find one of these keys in order to unlock the next elevator. So there's a lot of jumping back and forth between the foreground and the background. Sometimes they just required, sometimes they contain treasures, so on and so forth. So if you've played Kirby Triple Deluxe for the 3DS, it's kind of similar to that, you know, jumping back and forth between foreground, background. But I wonder like how much inspiration of that game was taken from this one. So obviously the bull has a faster dash, but it also has a ground pound. You might have seen me do this like belly flop move earlier in the first stage, but pressing down when in the air with Bull Wario gives you a ground pound. So we're just going to make our way to the end of stage 2, and we're going to see the first, I guess, hat change here. So some of these hats are required, so in this case, this is Sea Dragon Wario. It allows you to breathe fire and break these blocks labeled with fire symbols, and so that's going to lead us to our second treasure. Yeah, this game, as I mentioned in the interview, is released between Wario Land 1 and 2, but I think the movement, like the sprite work, so on and so forth, is just so smooth. Very much, I'd say, unlike the Game Boy the Game Boy Wario Land game. Yeah. In between here, we've got this is obligatory water level. Swimming in Virtual Boy Wario Land is actually really, really strange. It actually tries to make the swimming look kind of realistic. So there's like when Wario is paddling like this, there's parts where he's moving faster than others, and parts where he's like slowing down at the end of his stroke. But what seems to work well for me is just trying to hug the ceiling as much as possible. So I'm like mashing A constantly, running into the ceiling to try to get sort of like the fast part of the stroke. Yeah, these shark kind of, or eel enemies kind of reminds me of something from Triple Deluxe as well. Break that block. Pipes are like, I don't know, just the worst thing in this game. It's even worse when you're trying to swim underwater. Okay, so we gotta switch very quickly back to Bull. Some of these treasures are really, really well hidden in my opinion. I had to look a lot of them up when playing this game casually. But this one here, you have to crash through with Bull specifically in order to get this treasure for stage 3. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the ground pound and also the belly flop allows you to avoid bonking into walls. Normally, if you're dashing, you'll, for example, just run into that door. But if you belly flop or ground pound, you can actually avoid bumping into stuff, and you just sort of roll around corners that way. This is a mini boss kind of thing before the first boss. Fortunately, I was a little bit unoptimal there. The idea is that you want to get the mini boss to jump straight up into the air, but you need to stand really close in order for that to happen. Alright, so this is the first boss, Dinosaur Fish. Basically, the idea here is that I'm just going to dodge its attacks when it's in the background, and then have a well-timed jump to hit it as early as possible when it comes to the foreground. If you don't do this, the fight can get way uglier. But this is just going to be 2 more cycles of this, so now is a good time for a couple donations.
Absolutely. We have $50 from 607 saying Wario Land is my favorite series, and I'm always hoping for it to be run at GDQ. I've never played Virtual Boy Wario Land, naturally, because who owns a Virtual Boy? But I am very excited to see this run. Also, $25 from Mercurius59 saying donating for Virtual Boy at GDQ. Thank you, Gunpei Yokoi, for your contributions to generations of gamers. We will always remember you fondly.
Yeah, you can fit in maybe 2 more.
Sure thing. $20 from Death Brock saying, I hope all you amazing runners, viewers, donors, and people managing things behind the scenes are having a great time. Have an awesome day, everybody. And $50 from Simon saying, thanks for the great runs. Keep them coming.
All right. That's that boss. Not that interesting of a fight. And now we're going to get to Stage 5, which has probably the first instance of... definitely has the first instance of the most important in this run. So we're just going to be zooming to the left, then going upstairs into this next hat. This is the Eagle hat, and it functions kind of similarly to Bull. You have a dash, but you can actually do it in the air, and while you're in the air, you actually can jump out of the dash. It allows you to do a lot of high-flying acrobatics. You need to be really careful here not to hit any spikes. The nearest backup Eagle hat is really far away. Not really far away, but really inconvenient to get. Over here, I'm going to do 2 short hops. And this treasure really irritated me casually. This is so out of the way. And here you can see that belly flop mechanic of sort of rolling off of corners to avoid bonking. Belly flop allows you to pogo off of enemies, allowing you to do jumps like that. Wario is in like peak physical condition in this game. Never skips arm day. My fan theory is that in between the events of Wario Land, Virtual Boy Wario Land 2, Wario just stopped being able to get hurt. So he really let himself go after he became like essentially immortal. The last hat is actually this thing called King Dragon. It's actually a combination of Sea Dragon and Eagle. And, well, it allows you to breathe fire, allowing you to clear those blocks. Well, breathe fire, but it actually comes out sort of as a projectile. And unfortunately, if I want to switch back to any other hat, I actually need to take damage in order to, for example, get the Eagle back. So it's kind of something that you need to keep in mind, is that if you want to keep Eagle, you can't touch the Sea Dragon hat, and vice versa. Gonna swipe the block from the side. I would say it's very easy to take damage in this game, and being able to keep these hats for a long time is like super crucial. The switch that we pressed earlier enables this switch right here, and it's going to clear out this wall that leads us to the treasure of Stage 6. really too much to say about the rest of the stage, just a little bit of water section, so we can fit in a couple donations here.
You got it. $10 from Juliet saying, "This is my first time actually watching an SGDQ live. I love this event so much, and I'm so happy to donate for a wonderful cause. Let's reach that bonus game 3 incentive, everybody." And $10 from Sir Barbafo saying, "Long-time watcher, first-time donator, sending much love from Italy in these troubling times. SGDQ is more awesome every new edition. Keep it going."
All right, stage 7. Kind of a scary first room. A lot of spiky enemies that will immediately eat my eagle hat. And then these piranha-looking things on the ground as well. Ooh, that was really close. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a skip. So the idea here is that you clear these blocks, making way for this tornado. Clear out. Oh, I missed it. Clear out that sand pile. But if you have just the right timing, you can actually squeeze past before the. Whoa! Yeah, that was kind of scary. Squeeze past before the tornado blocks the door. Kind of an extended background section here in stage 7. The eagle hat really breaks a lot of these rooms. Yeah, so the mod that I'm using to capture is called the virtual tap. And one thing that it unfortunately does not capture is changes in brightness to the Virtual Boy. And that's the way that the Virtual Boy simulates fade in and fade out. So unfortunately, you don't get to see that. But it also kind of screws up some timings, like coming outdoors. But I'm already very, very fortunate that such a mod exists, even if it doesn't capture everything. So very grateful to the inventor of the virtual tap. Alright, stage 8 is kind of a boring boss. Pretty much the speed strat is also the same as like how you would probably play it casually, so now's a good time for a couple more donations.
Absolutely. $30 from Jared saying, "Right now, the world could use a lot more doctors and a lot fewer borders. To the runners, good luck. To the staff and volunteers, thank you. To everyone participating and or watching, be safe and stay healthy. Now go on and amaze me like you always do." And Thomas, 31, contributes $25 to Doctors Without Borders, saying, "Loved the Wario Land games as a kid. Didn't even know this Virtual Boy game existed until now." Also $25 from HyperNexus, saying, "Happy to see SGDQ keep on trucking as an online event to keep the runs and charity going, even with all the craziness going on in the world right now. Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and good luck on all the runs."
I have a very bad habit of accidentally jumping too early into this boss. I decided to play it kind of safe there. Very fortunate that I didn't royally screw up. I gotta flex some more. Alright, so stage 9 is probably my least favorite stage in the entire run. It's not particularly difficult, but it's definitely the most significant piece of randomness throughout the run. There'll be these enemies that drop watermelons, maybe not, yeah, and sometimes they just choose not to. But luckily, they gave me a watermelon immediately here. And the goal is to just hit the stuff in the background with the watermelon. So there's these big watermelons. If you're playing 80%, which skips all the treasures, you only need to do 2 watermelons, but in 100%, there's 4 watermelons that you need to get. So, like, double the randomness. Alright, so far, going well. Gotta play it a little bit safe on these spiky balls. And yet hit one into both those cups. Wow, okay. I got really good luck here. Wasn't expecting that. And this will give us the treasure for stage 10. Oops. Oops. Alright, that stage went about as good as one can expect. Hope for. Alright, sorry, that was stage 9. This is stage 10. If you notice in the bottom right corner, there's a countdown timer. If 20 minutes expire, then you take a death. And normally speaking, you know, we're finishing these stages way quicker than that, so there's nothing to worry about in regards to the timer. But in this particular stage, there's an event that's triggered by the in-game timer. Basically, every 30 seconds, there will be these cuckoo clocks that open up, and one of them contains a key. So the cycle that we're trying to get is 1900. And we're trying to get out the treasure, and also try to get back our eagle hat, all within this time frame. So there's actually cuckoo clocks in the next room, so I'm actually going to wait until it reads 1929 so that they don't open up. Just to be safe. I guess I am sacrificing a little bit of time, but really don't want to take damage. Because the thing about the King Dragon hat is that it allows you to float back to this area over here. So take damage, and then grab the eagle hat. Alright, so now we just need to rush all the way to the room with the key, before it reaches 1900. So, because I have the eagle, it's a little bit easier because I can run instead of walk with the King Dragon. So make it there with 2 seconds to spare. Now we wait here, grab the key. So it's kind of like an auto-scrollery stage. Since, you know, there's no way that we can reach the key in this category before 1930, so pretty much bounded to that particular cycle. Alright, stage 11, trickiest regular stage in the run. A lot of fire pits to fall into. Oh no. all that coming. It's okay. But I'm just gonna play a little bit safe. One thing about this game is that there are no checkpoints. So if you, whoops, okay. If you take a death, you actually start all the way back at the beginning. Dang. Getting destroyed here by the stage though. Okay, but luckily there's an eagle hat right here. So we continue on with intended strats. So about recoil when you bounce off of breakable blocks. You don't get recoil if you are in the air. So very important for that part. If you bonk sort of carelessly into the blocks, you can actually just fall straight into the fire pit. Now here's a really important room here. There are these fans that are on a cycle, and once you enter this room, the cycle starts, and it continues on throughout further rooms. So this one right here as well. So a little bit of a glitch there with the wall jump. Now allow us to quickly get to this key. Oh no. Okay, good. This room is actually way worse than it looks. Fortunately, I was in the air when all those enemies were shaking the screen. If the screen shakes and you're on the ground, you actually sort of freeze in place, which is not fun, especially if you're over a pit about to fall into the fire. Alright, so this is the third boss, definitely the trickiest boss fight in the run, and it's called Tank and Operator. The idea here is that you want to prevent the boss from jumping across the screen. I'll explain what I mean by that. So this upcoming boss fight, you can actually be in both the foreground and the background. And in order to actually attack the boss, you need to be waiting on the other side, wait for it to try to attack you from the other side, and then jump across and hit it. So once I do this, I knock the operator out. And then with sort of a glitchy... Whoa. I can't hit it. Getting jostled around. Okay, that was kind of what it was supposed to look like. Basically, you do sort of like a glitched charge into the tank itself, and then you sort of get stuck in place, and you can actually get multiple hits while getting stuck like that. The only way to damage the operator is to jump on it. And unfortunately, I was getting bounced around. Fortunately, it went okay. Now we're coming up to the final regular stage, stage 13, and this one really heavily uses the foreground background thing. So, when you're looking at it in 2D, it kind of doesn't really make much sense. So, it's just really, really confusing if you can't distinguish foreground and background. Alright, that treasure is easy to find. Now we're gonna try to skip all these spiky balls here. This is definitely the biggest sequence break in the entire run. Normally you essentially have to go through the level twice to pick up that key and leave at the same time. With the eagle hat, we can actually just skip all of that. Now, these things that are shooting the spiky balls are random. A little bit of variation here. We can fit in a couple more donations here.
You got it. We have a $10 donation from Safer saying Wario and Waluigi are the best characters in the Mario universe. Who would have thought? We will see a Virtual Boy Wario speedrun. Good luck, Swordsman Kirby, and stay healthy, you all.
Alright, I should have all the treasures now. Let's see. Yes, all of them. One final mini boss here. This one's kind of annoying, so I'm going to try to cheese it a little bit by hitting these rockets far away. Definitely not the optimal thing to do, but better than taking stray damage from one of these rockets. So finally, we're at the final boss. This is Demon Head. Casually, I would say that this fight is really difficult. I spent a long time on it, but like for the dinosaur fish, like the very first boss that we did, there's going to be a quick kill associated with it. So the game, okay, so Demon Head takes 5 hits. The first hit is completely just given to you, so you just jump and then run into it. And then with this particular positioning and movement, you can actually hit it as it's falling down. Ooh, that was almost too early. Alright, time's coming up soon. And time. Virtual Boy Wario Land 100%. Basically, the whole point of these treasures is that you unlock the best ending of the game. And depending on how much money you get or how many treasures you get a different ending, and determines what vehicle you fly away in. In this case, since I got all the treasures, this vehicle is going to be a magic carpet, and I'm also going to be, Wario is also going to be joined by a girl, since we finished under 2 hours. So hopefully I finished under 2 hours. And this is sort of the best ending that you can get for normal mode. Now, once you beat this game 100%, there's also expert mode, which is just like, in my opinion, not fun. Just spikes everywhere. Not really an enjoyable experience. Do we have a final time for that?
Yes, 23:29.
Okay, I'll gladly take that. Yeah, just want to give a quick shout to the Wario Land community. And especially Black, who ran this game a couple years ago, but pretty much made real-time Virtual Boy Wario Land speedrunning a thing, especially, both any percent, 100%. Yeah, that's going to be all for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you, GDQ, for accepting this run.
We have a lot of love coming in via the donations for both Wario and Swordsman Kirby. I Am Gibbon contributes $100 to Doctors Without Borders, saying, "Obey Wario, donate to MSF." Also, a $50 donation from Captain Kvackers saying, "Love seeing a Virtual Boy game being played at GDQ." Brian82 donates $150 and says, "Keep up the great work, everyone. Great show and a great cause." Thank you very much, Brian82. And with that, we are going to go to an ad from our sponsor really quick. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back at Summer Games Done Quick 2020 Online. I'm YoBGS. I'll be your host for the next couple runs. We're going fast and raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders is an international medical humanitarian aid organization that works in over 70 countries around the world, providing life-saving medical humanitarian care and speaking out about what they see in those areas. Their work aids people based solely on need, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or political affiliation. MSF is committed to safeguarding their patients' right to autonomy, confidentiality, and informed consent. 90% of their staff is national, meaning they live locally and are from the country they work in. MSF relies mainly on the generosity of individual donors, with over 90% of MSF's income coming from private donors giving small amounts. And just a reminder to hang out here because we are getting ready for Mario and Luigi Paper Jam with GigaDB. That's going to be coming up in just a few moments. Still some love, though, coming in for the Virtual Boy. Spatvark donates $10 and says, just a reminder to everyone astounded by how good Virtual Boy Wario Land looks. The Virtual Boy is a 32-bit console akin to the Game Boy Advance, but 6 years earlier. Nintendo really were ahead of their time with the Virtual Boy. Doctor contributes $250 to Doctors Without Borders, saying, I've been working in the hospital during this COVID plague madness the last few months. It's hard enough doing something like this for a little while. I cannot thank the frontline workers enough that do this around the world. The volunteers who devote their lives to taking care of folks around the world from one disaster after another deserve our thanks. Let's keep this fundraiser going strong. And just a reminder, as you see that Wario planter there are some amazing prizes that you still have a little while to get in on. All of this group of prizes that you're seeing right now are available until the end of the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening run with Mighty Mouth. That's going to be coming up after Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. So if you see anything scrolling by that you want to get your donations in for, now would absolutely be the time to do it. And looking ahead to some of those incentives that we've got coming up a little bit later today, the big one I've got my eye on is the bonus game 3, the Resident Evil 3 remake. It's a new game, standard run. The bonus incentive is at about $17,000 right now. We need to raise $80,000 if we want to see Resident Evil 3 remake. So now's a good time. Let's get those donations in, maybe get a train going in chat and see if we can push that closer to that $80,000 goal. And with that, it is time for Mario and Luigi Paper